evening what the Boys and Girls Club means to me. The Boys and Girls Club is a positive place for kids. Its purpose is to create a positive and caring place for kids of all ages. I have been a member of the club for 6 years. The Boys and Girls Club has made a huge transformation in my life. I, Amir Everett, was the quiet, shy girl that allowed everyone to stand out while I stood back. However, after participating in the BGC leadership sessions, I will always be out front. The club has made a positive impact on my life. The club has given emotional, academic, and social support. It has taught me to treat everyone just how I want to be treated, the golden rule. It has also taught me to keep my head up and to never give up. I can stand before you today and tell you that enrolling your child in the Boys and Girls Club will benefit you and your child. It provides transportation to and from school, which has made it easier for my mom. Enrolling in the club has eased my mom's mind because she knew that her children were in a safe and nurturing environment and that there were several days she knew she would not have to cook. The club has been a tremendous help academically. The after-school tutor programs have been a plus for my siblings and I, because we all have been able to maintain AB averages, and this Sunday I will be inducted into the National Honor Society. After school and during the summer, most kids have nothing constructively to do, and that promotes children to get into bad things and make bad choices. Getting them involved with the Boys and Girls Club will provide positive interactions and create a great distraction. What makes my club the best is the staff. Their caring, energetic spirit, and eagerness to push us to succeed makes each one of us want to return the next day. They teach us so much about life that they have been through that we may experience. The club is a place where we are not forced to get involved, but we are highly encouraged. The club has given me several opportunities to increase my leadership skills, college tours, and career courses. It has helped me overcome some of the hardest obstacles in life. They have helped me gain 100% confidence in myself. I stand before you to tell you that I no longer say I can, I now can say I did. Thank you.
Mr. Robin Coleman, come on up and introduce our speaker, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Capital B, capital G, boys and girls. On my way up here, I passed by Joanne Copeland, who asked me to remind you all that the hula dancer physiques and costumes are available at Kojai Athletic Company. I'm a latecomer to the Copeland Circle. I take my next level training with them just down the way here. And after reading of his accomplishments that are described on the page of this pamphlet, it's a good thing that I do go to Kojai Next Level Training to acquire the flexibility and strength to actually comprehend what it is that Danny Copeland has accomplished. When asked to introduce Danny, let me put my glasses on. I'm calling this the man behind the legend after reading this. When asked to introduce Danny this evening, I was reminded of a story he told me about a beast of a running back who was brought in by the Washington Redskins to get first downs on occasional short yardage situations, and whose contract was considerably more than Danny was making with the Redskins as special teams captain and full-time defensive back. The day came, as the day must come, at practice when Danny felt it was time to put this individual's price tag to the test with a tackle designed to take air out of the ball. What Danny recalled from the brief but thundering encounter while getting back on his feet was that he now knew, although not his, what a $1 million contract felt like. In my case, however, I am honored and fully inflated to introduce Danny without having to pick myself up to do so. As noted in the pamphlet and when inducted into the 2006 class of the Thomasville Sports Hall of Fame, Danny Lamar Copeland was born and raised in Meigs, Georgia, the youngest of 3 boys. He attended Thomas County schools, excelled in academics and athletics. At Thomas County Central High, Danny stood out in football, where he earned all-region recognition, was named to a National Honor Society, voted a senior favorite by his peers, and senior superlative as the most outstanding graduate class of '84. Upon graduating Central High, Danny went off to college as a University of Eastern Kentucky Colonel, where he distinguished himself all-conference for 2 years, and just as uniquely, academic All-American. Performance standards on and off the field that attracted the notice of NFL scouts when he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns in 1988. Danny's journey through professional football took him to the Kansas City Chiefs from '89 to '90, and then to the promised land of the Washington Redskins from '91 through '93. Wearing jersey number 26, he amassed 327 tackles and 2 interceptions as the starting safety over 3 years, earning a Super Bowl 26 ring in 1992, having just turned 26 with a 34-27 win over the Buffalo Bills, and celebrated as Redskin Man of the Year in 1993 before retiring in '94. Now, after football, Danny returned to Meigs, where he started an after-school program for youth, which evolved into Christ in Sports Foundation, where he was both founder and director. The satisfaction gained from serving others showed Danny the way to create Koji Athletic Company Next Level Training in 1994, here in Thomasville, right down the street, where the positive impact of his experience, shaped by the abiding faith of his wife, Joanne, their 4 sons and 3 daughters, and boosted by the rip-roaring cheerleading of encouraging staff, championed the body, mind, and spirit of all who walk through that door. For those who do not know, Koji stands for Children of Godly Inheritance. I speak on behalf of Danny as such a child, that we are blessed to discover what is possible in the living of our lives through the 3-point stance of his example. Character born of hard work, good humor, and fellowship, bearing life lessons graced by thoughtful introspections, willing to be shared. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one of your own, Danny Copeland.
But listen, thank you all for coming out and supporting the Boys and Girls Club. Can we do it for them one more time? We can do better than that. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. Guys, listen, thank you. I love having an opportunity to share my story. Part of my story right now is I've thought about this and thought about this and thought about this since I was given the invitation to come in and say whatever it is I'm going to say to you guys. But I met Lee Wagner a few years back, and we were also in the midst of nonprofit, working with kids, and I said, tell me about the Boys and Girls Club. And he looked me in the eye and he said, it's a positive place for kids. I was waiting. Bring me some more stuff. Yeah. And he said, it's a positive place for kids. That's it. Yeah, you can do it again. That's it. That's it. So, football season. I like sharing a little bit about my basketball life. Cut my teeth as a basketball player under the great Charlie Ward Sr. Hey, that's worth 2 claps. So I was trying to date his oldest daughter at the time. Marvin and I are great friends. I said, trying. So I would spend a lot of weekend time at the Ward home, and it was just blessed to watch them as a couple. Just watch the way they interacted with each other, and I wanted at some point to have that relationship. I wanted to have as many kids as the Wards have. Did I beat you? We got 7. We run 9 deep. That's okay. We tied. But to have that picture before me as a teenager meant everything. My home, my personal home was not the same. And so to have that picture of a husband relating to a wife, again, was an early picture for me, and I lived a lot of young life just desiring that. I want to be able to set that type of home for a group of kids. And eventually, I hope we got to do it. Pops, you get to see, you're the gold standard. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate that picture. Basketball. I walk into the gym for tryouts after having spent a lot of time at Coach Ward's home. He was the head basketball coach at Central. And I'm thinking, I think it's probably going to be a shoe-in because I'm the son-in-law, right? And I walked in the gym and he said, shoot. I wasn't a shoe-in, he shooed me out. I'm here for trials. He said, boy, ain't nobody from Meigs, Georgia playing basketball on my team. So, it's kind of Meigs, that's me, that's us. What do I do with it? What did I do? So, blessing. I realized something had gone wrong in the behaviors of some of our guys, some of our Meigs, Georgia guys, before him or on his team that he totally didn't approve of. And I thought, man, that's not good. Not good that he says, I can't do it. We didn't do it right. Whoever got here before I did, as a Meigs Georgian, we didn't do it right. So I took it upon myself as a 16-year-old that every opportunity that he got to see me, hopefully, he would see the right thing. Hear me again. He gave me a picture, right? And that's what we desire to do for these kids. That's my hope, is that we will give them the picture. And as we do that, if we leave them in the confusion of this day, we toast. Just being honest. Our kind of survey says this is a country survey, we did it in Meigs, but half of the room right now probably disagrees with the other half of the room. That's life stuff. But there's an answer. There's an answer. I get to serve a king. And I want to encourage you all. The king's got the answer. So the following season, Charlie Ward Sr. came to me and he said, hey, I need some leadership on my basketball team. I want you to come out and play for me. Listen, I had staked my life on that at that point. I hoped at some point that I could just get his approval. Really didn't have anything to do with basketball. I was terrible. just, just being honest. Listen, when I'm in the gym for the first time, and I'm watching these guys do what they do as basketball players, I thought you went in the gym, and this is kind of where it comes from, but I thought you went in the gym and you just yell for the basketball, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, like my 9-year-old does. They throw it to you and you just take a shot, right? I didn't realize there were 5 guys on each team that were working together, and they were running these patterns, and I'm looking at this the first time, and I'm going, oh no, I can't do that. I'm gonna mess that up. I didn't get to mess it up. He didn't play me very much. So. To his credit, always calling the right place. But here goes football for me. And this is tough because I watch a different game than you guys watch. I love to be able to sit and watch a football game and enjoy it as a fan. Most of the time I don't. Most of the time my brain goes into analytical mode, and I'm thinking, trying to think 2 plays ahead of what's going on, and then I'm trying to assess what's happening in every place, in every position, and all that. That's happening in the inner workings of football, and I can't not do it because of where we lived and seeing it every day. But I want to encourage you guys that most of what you see, most of what meets the television for you, it's not real. You guys are given cuts and clips of what the fantastic stuff that's going on in football, right? Because somebody has to sell it. Somebody has to sell it. Otherwise, they can't bring it to us. So you're going to get, for the most part, what appears to be most exciting, right? Which a lot of the time means what might be most controversial. And that's fed to us and fed to us and fed to us. It's also fed to our kids and fed to our kids and fed to our kids. This is my angle for what those little impressionable minds see. If we don't help them understand, first, the games are being played by what's called people. And their challenge, just as basketball was for me and for our teammates, was how well do those people actually work together to meet a common goal? Hello, Thomasville. How well can those people actually come together, right, to meet a goal that's favorable for everybody? This was cool. I didn't see that as a young player. I saw me trying to beat up people, knock people out, do whatever I could do so that I could get a piece of the cheese. You guys with me? That was it. Whatever you can do to scale the ladder at the time. If it's, somebody else is trying to scale, if you can get that hand down, then you could probably get a little bit ahead of them a little bit faster, and you might make it to the top before they can get there. Or before they can get you, because the crowds be doing this stuff. We be pulling stuff back down, right? When you see presentations of professional football, what do you see? What do you remember? What gets locked into your think or knower? What do you see? And then they'll give me the bad stories. There is a quarterback that maybe he raped a lot of women, maybe not. He might be getting suspended, maybe not. That can run because people will pay for it. That can run on TV. It can loop and loop and loop and loop and loop to the point that our kids believe, they really believe, that's what professional football players do. Guilt or innocence, that don't matter. That's what professional football players do. And they make all that money. It's okay, you guys can loosen up. And they make all that money. Listen, I was brought here on an express train to tell you that my signing bonus for the Cleveland Browns, $14,500. Now you're scared. Because I'm not going to leave here dripping money. Do we have 3 more minutes? So here goes my story in football. I was injured and rebound, rejected rebound, cut from team rebound, put on Plan B free agent twice, not because I was a free agent, but because somebody said, maybe you should go share your talent with somebody else. That's kind of the way the career went, right? It was not all rosy most of the time. I probably came out with the best wife available. You can do it. Do it. And then I was blessed to learn a lot of lessons, but it dealt with what I already shared with you. It actually dealt with relating to people. That's the game. This is the locker room. How we relate to each other is the part that goes missed. And you know, for all of the fictional stuff that you guys might watch on whatever television might show you, what we end up with is a totally distorted understanding of what actually goes on. Please hear me. For every one guy that might be driving a car at 150 miles per hour, there's 1,500 guys that don't do that. I'm playing spoiler tonight, maybe, but there's 1,500 other guys that don't do that. Most of the guys that you all read about, and now listen, please hear me, this is not a spanking. I'm really not trying to spank anybody from here. No, I really wish you guys could enjoy the lives of the folks that I got to enjoy for 6 years. It's no different from us. Their talents, their gifts are totally different, right? They're just people. So for all of the statistics that might present that these guys make $1 gazillion, some of them do these days. I wish I could play 3 more downs, but y'all saw me dancing, that ain't gonna happen. But here's the thing. Those young humans, really, really young, almost 100% of those guys will sow back into their communities. What we pick up in the newspaper is most of them are broke in 3 years' time. If you've ever heard that or seen that, please raise your hand. We can put them down. Most of them want to bless the people around them. They live in community. Some of them can't stand each other. So saith ESPN. You don't see the fight. We heard so-and-so and the other guy was fighting in the shower naked. Really? Did they actually see that? So my first impression of the Washington Redskins, it was challenging Cleveland. I'm Plan B free agent, which again says I can pack up my stuff and drive down to Kansas City, and maybe Kansas City might want you to contribute to whatever they're doing. So I'm in Kansas City for 2 years. Life was hard, really, really, really gut-wrenching hard. I was doing everything that I knew to do as far as work and showing commitment and dedication and all the wonderful things that you guys are used to hearing motivational speakers speak about. None of it worked. It worked to help grow me. Please hear that. Everything that I was taught here as a young person, as far as developing my personhood, it worked. That it opened the door for me to be able to go in and play football. That's why I was there. Honestly, I didn't want the growth plan. I wanted to play. Wasn't happening. Didn't happen in Cleveland. For 2 years, I did get to play special teams in Washington. To be honest, even when you guys look at it, we kind of look at that as kind of the second class of professional sports, right? Some of the guys don't even know what special teams is. Ladies, y'all please help them after we're done. But it's kind of the no-name positions, right? I wanted to be a starter. First guys to go out. And if you can catch the beginning of that word, the base of that word, I wanted to be a star. That's where I wanted to hang out. Wasn't happening. So after 2 years in Kansas City, I was placed on Plan B free agent for the second time. I was totally burnt out. And 3 of my former teammates from Kansas City had gone over to Washington to play. 3 of those guys came back and visited me in the Kansas City weight room and talked to me about, or tried to talk to me about going to Washington. Man, I want to go home. It's just where I was. I want to go home. And seriously, I would respond like this. I say, dude, I'm going home. I'm going to get me some chickens, right? I'm going to get me a nice brooder. We're going to have us some chicks. We didn't say chicks, we said biddies. But here's the thing. I couldn't see myself at that point, just at one of the lowest places, I think, in my, not career, but when things ain't working, it's a low place in life. Again, it's if we're okay with being honest about it, right? And then I refuse to call the coach, and the coach calls me. And he says, you don't remember answering machines? Yeah, everybody remember answering machines? Okay, so Joan and I line on the bed, and on the answer machine, this guy says, Danny, this is Joe Gibbs from the Washington Redskins. And I'm like, okay, man. And she's like, you gonna get that? You gonna get that? No, I'm not gonna get that. I'm ready to get home. I'm ready to get to South Georgia. He said, I heard you're a Christian. We'd like for you and your wife to come and take a look at what we have going on in Washington. I'm thinking, man, that is a poor recruiting pitch. I'd never heard it before. But dude is going real low. God's going to strike him down. She said, are you going to pick it up? So I picked up the phone, had a quick conversation with Coach Gibbs. We go over. We're welcomed. I mean, it was I would just say, a totally different experience. There were 3 or 4 wives that came over to pick her up and just took her out and really encouraged her. I'm going to say that. I don't know if Joanne had ever been outside of the Kansas City limits at that time. She's a Kansas City girl. But the guys did the same for me. And I thought, man, I really believe these guys are sincere in what they're offering. So we took them up on it. Summer practice, my first summer. I'm watching the defense go against the offense. And this guy comes up, actually he came up on my left side. And I knew this guy to be Clarence Vaughn, who was the second string strong safety, which was my position. They only keep 2 people at strong safety. My first 2 stops, if this person had come close to me, what usually happens is either you bow up like a man, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Either you bow up and let them know, okay, I can stand this ground, Doc, what you doing here? And this guy started to teach me the position. That was foreign to me. I hadn't had a teammate since college to do that. This guy begins to tell me what I needed to know and tell me how the offense is what they're about to do and how the defense needs to shape up to basically just be able to counter what they're doing and our position. And I'm going, okay, we've met before. He has a little kid, and if I learn this, he's going to be in the cheese line. He's not going to if he teaches me, he's not going to have a job. What kind of dude is this? You're supposed to be protecting your stuff. and he never stopped. We go into camp, come out of camp, and I'm the one chosen to stay with the Washington Redskins. Needless to say, I'm excited about that. I'm not a starter, but at least I make the team, right? So I have another shot. Washington Redskins are playing ball on grass, so I'm thinking, you know, my body can do this another year or so. And getting the opportunity to do it on grass. We have played on whatever this the steel carpet is out in Kansas City. This stuff will beat the snot out of you. But can I say snot? Is that cussing? Okay, so here's the thing. We are Clarence Vaughn is cut from the team. But I realize most of these Redskins players related the same way. They believed in taking care of their people. I just got here. They treated me as team as soon as my boat docked in Northern Virginia. This is where it gets really cool. Alvin Walton, some of you guys will know that name. Alvin Walton was the starting strong safety. So I didn't play in Kansas City. Alvin Walton was a certified killer in football. I ain't gonna play. I probably didn't say that proper, but I ain't gonna play. There's no chance of me getting much playing time behind that guy. He was a killer. So do you settle in and just look to just ride it out? That's kind of where I was. I will give them the best I have, no expectations. All right? So we play the first game. We're beating the Detroit Lions. I think it might have been like 42-0. Clock is ticking down. I'm on the sideline. I'm looking at this, and all I want to do is play football. That's all I want to do. But I'm not playing football again. I'm watching football. And I want to tell you, inside, it was ripping me up. It was, I moved 1,000 miles to be in the same situation that I was in with the Kansas City Chiefs. More than likely, some of us have been in those situations too with employment. It can be tough. It was gut-wrenching tough. Tougher. I knew that the God of heaven was seeing my misery. God, what are you doing to me? Why are you doing this to me? That was tough. So we're playing the Dallas Cowboys, and just real quick with Dallas because they're not worth a lot of time. So we're in Dallas. Dallas Cowboys score. Emmitt Smith runs into Alvin Walton. It was really not a bone-crushing type of collision, but he runs into Alvin Walton. Alvin's knocked out of the football game. And all of a sudden, our sideline is frantic. They're going, Walton's down, Walton's down. And this was my posture, especially mentally, in the game. I didn't expect to go in. So I'm thinking, oh, Walton's down. Okay, they'll get something. They'll find somebody. Richie Pettibone, our defensive coordinator, is, John, do you mind standing up for me? I just need a picture. Just real quick, please. Thank you, sir. Can y'all give John 2 claps? So here's the thing. Richie Pettibone, who's about 2 inches taller than John, comes and stands right here in front of my face, and he says, Walton's down. You ready, babe? Who this man talking to? I know he ain't talking to me. Why are you standing so close? That's literally where I was. No expectation. I get to go into that game praying, Lord, this is the Dallas Cowboys rivalry. Please don't let me mess this up on national TV. I prayed for 2.5 quarters. I'm not lying to you. Right? I know I probably double time during halftime. Lord, you can heal Alvin. Please heal him. You got 15 minutes. And he didn't heal him. We win the football game the next day. We are on the field, and we're just kind of doing these loosen up type of sprints. and I couldn't, it was just really tough, just really, really tough. But this ended up happening. Clarence Vaughn gets brought back to the team. Alvin Walton's out. Alvin Walton stays out for the entire season. Yours truly gets to stay in the starting strong safety position for the rest of the season. We get to go and play the Super Bowl. And this thing it was probably out of hand first half, if any of you watched it. It was probably totally out of hand the first half. They don't have a chance of coming back in the game. We go through it somewhere about, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half. It seemed so easy at that point, having worked with these guys, with their encouragement, day after day after day. These guys actually would discuss Bible stuff. They ain't talking about the book of Ruth. I didn't even know the Bible had a Ruth. They're talking about the book of Ruth, not in Bible study. This is at their lockers next to me before morning practice. It totally blew me away. It messed me up. But I'm understanding that it's more about relationships. It's more about, as the Bible says, encouraging one another and building each other up. Ain't nobody in this room that has not heard that. Encourage one another and build each other up. So I'm in praying mode at that point. By the way, I just kind of, you might not want to miss this, but I got knocked out in the Super Bowl. More about that later. We got to get out of here. But this was the beauty of it. I was 100% in my right mind when I was praying, Lord, what is this all about? I struggled and struggled and struggled. I got cut, got rejected, got turned away, however you can term it. All those things happen in the course of a career. And now, you've given this to me. What is this all about? And he had me turn my head to the right, down the sideline, in street clothes, was Clarence Vaughn. Please hear me. I was not turning to take a look. He just turned me to the right, outside of our defensive box, in street clothes, was Clarence Vaughn. He didn't play it down that day. But the God of heaven blessed me to realize it's about the people you get to do it with. Please hear me one more time. It's not about how much money you can make. It's not about how high you can scale on the ladder. It's just not. That person next to you, the person that's at the table, those little people that came up here, and all of us have been there. Some of us were comfortable in that. I wasn't comfortable in this. Here's the beauty of it. When Jesus was asked, Lord, what is the greatest of these commandments? What of this is most important? He said to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your strength, all of your mind. Guys, if we can get that one right, the rest of these would be pretty easy plays to run. It's not necessarily easy to get there. Second is like unto it. Maybe we can master this one. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's what Clarence Vaughn did for me. It led to a championship. I believe that's what it's all about. Day after day after day. Interactions with our people. I believe God's going to give us the championship. God bless you.
So instead of me and my staff standing before you or the board standing before you, we're going to reach out to a couple of parents that are going to share with you just briefly about how the Boys and Girls Club impacts them and their family and their children. And so you need to hear it from their perspective because they're not paid staff. They are the recipients of your generosity as donors in this community that support the Boys and Girls Club.
Good afternoon. My name is Valika Robinson, and my daughter, I have two beautiful daughters, Destiny and Zalea Barnes. We have been going to the Boys and Girls Club for over 10 years, and my testimony with them is the Boys and Girls Club has been a big inspiration to me and to them. I have a little what I want to say, but I got a little kind of written down, so. The Boys and Girls Club has been an amazing experience for me and my family, and having a safe place for my kids to go after school during the summer. When they're at the club, I know they are learning, interacting with their peers. The club have given them so many opportunities, from life experiences and lessons to leadership skills they would not learn anywhere else. My kids are more productive and better placed because of the Boys and Girls Club. I really like to thank everyone who is involved in the club to know how grateful we are and for everything they have done for us and for me and my family. And that's the place that I would prefer for anyone to have kids, no other place to take them there.
I want to ask Mr. Bernard Smith to come forward for me, please. I'm sorry, Bernard Davis. I had Smith on the mind. Mr. Bernard. This young man is a jack of all trades. And, you know, we talked earlier about the importance of resources to do what we do on a daily basis. And resources are very important. But resources come in many forms. There's obviously the financial resources, but there's the human resources as well. And this gentleman is a true human resource and a blessing to our organization. Mr. Bernard is pretty much on call. Whenever we need him, he's always there for us, and we certainly appreciate that. He's played Santa Claus. He's poured our float in the Rose Show, the Rose Parade, and then he's manned the barbecue grill as well. So it doesn't matter the need, he's always there for us, and so we just have a small token of our appreciation for you, sir. Thank you. Another community jewel, a true resource. Come on up, Miss Mariah. You didn't think you were going to get away with just sitting there. My question to you remains, what aren't you involved in? She does everything, and it's all for the kids and all for the betterment of the community. This past summer, in a spur of the moment call, I said, look, you know, we got an email from Boys and Girls Club of America to enter into a national contest sponsored by Maytag. And the goal was to submit a 2-minute video, and the winning organization or the winning video was going to be the recipient of the $20,000. Again, very, very spur-of-the-moment thing. And she said, sure, no problem. And so she came in with the help of the Humane Society, and we appreciate that wonderful staff there. She shot this 2-minute video. We entered the video into the competition, and while we did not win, and I think there was some bias going on, she did finish as a semifinalist, and so she's to be congratulated for that. Great job. But more importantly, over the years, she's been involved with the organization as a volunteer for a good 12, 13 years. And she's very passionate about what she does. She's driven, she's focused on the well-being of the kids, and she brings resources to her commitment. With the Morehouse Initiative, I think over that 5-year grant, she brought in excess of $500,000 to the community. She works very diligently with the Rotary Club, and the Rotary Club sponsors our teen youth initiative. And so she brings resources with her when she comes to the table to make a difference. And so we certainly want to recognize you and thank you for all that you do. And I'd like to share. Let me say this. She has, and I've really tasked her, we are making a big push to address mental health at our club and throughout our community. And she's a driving force behind that and providing the knowledge and expertise for us to be successful in that initiative. So I was disappointed that plaque that you broke from 2010, I thought I was going to have it tonight to present, but back order, so I'll have it next week.
I gotta share this. Lee gave me a plaque, just like he did this one in 2010, of all of the awards that I have. That is the most valued one. I finally told him I broke it. If I get that back, I'm probably gonna cry.
You're gonna get it back.